All right, we are making some barbecue shredded beef today in our Blackstone Pellet grill. We're gonna mix it with some barbecue sauce and some cherry Dr. Pepper. Can't get much more Texas than that. Let's get started. Okay, for this shredded beef, we are gonna just use a couple of chuck roasts here. So to get this started, we're just going to throw down some mustard on here to use as a binder. We're just going to rub that all over. We actually need to cube this chuck roast up to make sure we get that mustard binder all over all the pieces. So this mustard adds just a little bit of flavor to this as we're cooking it, but not too much. It mostly just acts as the sticking agent for the rub that we're going to put on. So there we have our cubed chuck roasts. Next, we're going to use this Church Holy Cow barbecue rub. You can use whatever your favorite barbecue rub is. You just want to make sure that you get all sides of these pieces of chuck roast covered in whatever rub you choose to use. And the mustard will help with that as far as making everything stick. Okay, once we've got that rub on there, we are now going to make use of our new Inkbird 4 probe wireless probe thermometer. So we've got 4 probes we can work with here. I'm going to use maybe 2 of them for this. So I'm going to get kind of a fatter piece of our cubed chuck roast, and we're just going to insert that right through the middle. I'm just going to do 2 of them here just so that we can kind of get an accurate reading. We can kind of use this as a gauge to see where we're at with our meat. So I've got a couple probe thermometers in there. This Inkbird thermometer, they sent this to me to test it out, so we're giving it a test out. So far it's been really good, so we're going to give it a shot for this. So now we're going to get our smoker preheated. Okay, we are going to set our Blackstone pellet grill to 275. 275 isn't an option here, so we're going to just go 280 and get that set to go. Okay, now that we've got our smoker preheated, I'm just going to throw these in there. These cubes are going to cook in here at 275 for about 3 hours. So our meat has been in here for about 3 hours. We're going to move it into a Dutch oven. We're going to place these pieces of meat right in here. Okay, once we've got them in there, we're going to add cherry Dr. Pepper. Obviously, we're not going to add the whole 2 liter here, but enough to just kind of cover the bottom. And then you just use your favorite barbecue sauce. I'm just using some Terry Black's sweet and tangy barbecue sauce here. I'm just going to throw that in there on top too. And we're going to continue to let this just braise in all of this juiciness in the Dutch oven. Put the lid on it, put it right back in there, and it will sit in the smoker for another couple hours. Okay, this has been on for a couple hours. So this has been in here for a couple hours, so let's just check and see. Okay, so we're gonna try this out. We'll see how this went. It's supposed to be like fall apart tender. And shred it up. So you can see it looks, ooh, look at that. It is just kind of falling right apart. Shredding right up. It's got a really good bark on it from that seasoning and from sitting in the smoker. So the ultimate test though is to taste it. Is it actually any good? The shredded beef itself is very tasty. Yeah. So let's put it on a sandwich. Let's see how that does. Okay, so to make our sandwich, I am going to start by making some French fried onions to put on our sandwich. Okay, and these are really easy to make homemade. I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is throw a metal catering pan on our griddle top, and we are going to set this up as our fryer. So I'm going to throw some oil down in this pan. Need it about an inch deep of oil, and we're going to just let that heat up while we prep the rest of our ingredients. Got the griddle on high, letting that heat up. Now back over here, we're going to dice up an onion, but we want this onion to actually soak in some buttermilk, and I don't have buttermilk. All I have is regular milk, but you can make buttermilk pretty easily. All you need is a tablespoon of vinegar to go in about a cup of milk. So I'm just going to throw that in there and give that a quick stir. And then if you just let that sit for about 5 minutes, you'll basically have homemade buttermilk. That's all there really is to it. So while that's sitting, I'm going to go ahead and dice up my onion. So we want this onion to be nice, thin slices. The thinner, the better. You could use a mandolin for this to get them super thin. So I've got my onion cut up nice and super thin. I've got my homemade buttermilk here, so I'm just going to kind of separate those onions out, let them kind of dredge in that buttermilk, and make sure they're all kind of in the buttermilk there. And we're going to let those sit for about 5 minutes, maybe up to 10 minutes. While those are sitting, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my flour. So I've got probably about a cup of flour here. I'm going to salt this liberally. I'm going to give this a good mixing here. So our optimal frying temperature for these onions is going to be around 350. We're getting pretty close to that. So I'm going to get my first set of onions kind of dredged into flour here. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of sprinkle them lightly in the flour. You don't want to overdo. You don't want to put too many in here at one time. I'm going to give these a good toss in that flour. So now that our temperature is at about 350, I'm going to lightly sprinkle my onions into that oil. Again, you don't want to overpack it. So these take roughly about 5 minutes to cook. You'll see them to start to turn brown like you do here. Once you see that, you're probably good to pull them out. So there you have them. And I'm just going to move these to a paper plate that I have lined with some paper towels to just kind of let the oil drain off of them a little bit. And while they sit and drain, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my next batch. Okay, so once your onions are all done, we could just add another bit of salt to those, kind of toss them in there. Then we could start working on building our sandwich. We're going to start with our toasted bun. We've got that delicious shredded beef. All right, so then I've got my Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce that I've made. We're going to just spoon some of that right on top there. Then we've got these sweet and spicy pickles that I picked up. These are really good pickles. I love a good pickle on my sandwich. These in particular are very good. Love that little bit of sweet heat that they give. And then we're gonna pile it up with our homemade French fried onions. And then there we have it. Delicious shredded beef barbecue sandwich with that Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce, braised in Dr. Pepper and barbecue sauce, got that spicy pickle, those homemade French fried onions. So let's give this a try. All those flavors just work so well together. You got that shredded braised beef, that tangy and sweet Dr. Pepper barbecue, the salty crunch from the onion, that little bit of heat from the pickle. It's a perfect sandwich. Let me know, would you give this a try? Until next time, thanks for watching.